Shulam and Brocha. Let's learn a bit of Chumash, Parshas Lech, Lecha. I'm going to start with an old story that's been making the rounds of the Reuven family for years. See, I have this little office in my house, and this is my little, I think in English they call it a man cave. And I had a chair, one of those big leather chairs that served me quite well over many years. But after a while, things started to fall apart. You know, the wheels didn't go, didn't take me from the bookcase to the table. The positions didn't add up. It would be awkward at the best of times, and the height didn't reach shiva seat level. It was going. The stuffing was coming out. So I said, you know what? I'm going to buy a chair on one of these mail order places. We call them in America. Today, they use the word Amazon. Everyone knows what that is. And so I bought the chair, and it arrived, and I had a problem. Because the box was very long, but very thin. And I thought to myself, there's no way the chair that I thought I bought could fit into that thin box. Then, of course, the daylight dawned on my mind. I had bought a chair that needed to be put together by its owner. So, in other words, I had received a chair embryo, and I was meant to somehow nurture it and bring it to life. So, opening the box, I remember, this goes back several years. Opening the box was a lesson and a half. So many screws and nuts and sticky tape and packaging and boxes and plastics. And I was astounded that the jungle of metal and rubber could ever become the sturdy perch that would be able to hold my my even, polite society, I'll have to say, my full girth in comfort. So as I wrestled with all this, it came into my mind, I'm thinking, we all have plans in our lives. We have opinions about what we should be and what should be around us, which is often at odds with the reality. I thought I bought a chair. Meanwhile, I got a bunch of loose bolts and some plastic. I don't know what it was. So stuff doesn't always turn out the way we expected or the way we thought it should. And that's a real problem. Our outlook is often focused on our own understanding of how life should be run. This may not be correlating with what Kaviyuchel the Eibishter has in store for us. What better example, unfortunately, the situation we're in now. With this corona, this viral disease. Each day we think, and now they come out with new reports that even those who think they're immune, the immunity won't last. The Eibishter would want something, and it's not the way we would like this to be, but this is where it's at. We're meant to grow through this. So there's a Torah from the Heilige Grodzitske Rebbe that tells us that the words Lech, Lecha, go for yourself, for which we have this week's Parsha. Yeah, this is aimed at Avram Avinu and us as children, and it's a guidance for basic focus of life. Lech, go from Lecha, from your own subjective ideas and plans of what should be and shouldn't be. Everything in our lives is part of Kaviyuchel the Eibishter's will. And the stress comes when we can't accept that. Gitti Yidden explained that when one is faced by a challenge and refuses to see it for what it is, which means you don't see it as an asoyan, which was sent to us, to give us the ability to grow, then we become broken and ever more entwined in the web of self-understanding of what we get lost in everything. A Baal B'tochen understands that life's challenges are coming from Kaviyuchel the Eibishter. Hence, they are there for a benefit. We don't understand the benefit. That's not for us to understand. We don't have all the pieces. When we accept this, then the Nisoyan loses its hold because it's lost the potency to detour us from the connection with the Eibishter. Avram is being told, go away from any preconceived ideas of what we are meant to be doing down in this world. Leave them aside. Accept with love that everything is from Kaviyuchel Hashem, and thus your connection with Kaviyuchel will be ever stronger. The Grodzinska explains even further. He says that this understanding holds true whilst doing the mitzvahs as well. Let go of any thought of personal gain, any motive when you're fulfilling the Ratzon HaBoiler. It is never about your personal understanding, but only about the Ratzon Hashem. The Lecha aspect in life is very strong. It can consume our thinking and overtake our inner landscape. Listen to people talk now. This should be done, this would do. It's called Luftrede. It doesn't mean, it's a Ratzon Hashem that this is where we are. And when the time comes, it will go some way, it will be finished. Accepting that our life is about the Ratzon Hashem brings us a real life. A real life. One in which we can accept the difficulties when called upon to do so, and to do our avodah without any selfish purpose, and truly feel a fulfilled connection to what our essence is. I'll return to the chair. I'm sure you're all interested to know. Again, this went back years ago. Things didn't work out all that well. I plowed through the packaging and I found instructions that I think was written in Sanskrit. And I fiddled about and juggled parts and the screws and things got lost. It was Labor Day, only to find at the end of the wrestling match, several screws could not find a home and the chair wasn't fully fit for purpose. So, the Rebbetzin, La Yeshua, she came home. See, because most of these rabbinical DIY jobs happen when the Rebbetzin isn't in the house. So when she came into the study, she looked at the chair, he raised an eyebrow and said what I was thinking. Really? Yeah? And this is it. Well, I'm still back in the old rickety chair. I can thank Hashem that at least the exercise in carpentry served to inspire myself for this few words that I'm sharing with you now. Some home truths. For those who are Heimish know that tomorrow ends the 11 months for the Kaddish for the Rebbetzin Yeshua. There's not a day, not a moment that goes by that I'm not reminded and I'm not thinking. The Eibishter soll helfen, sie so seine Gitte ausbeten for the Mishpuchen, for the alle Gitte Frauen who are listening and watching, who knew how much she was dedicated to the Kehillah. And we have Psilas Tevis with Yeshiyas in this difficult time, the chair that is breaking our souls, that it's put itself together with our connection with the Eibishter. In dem Schusam geholfen werden, and Mashiach soll kommen, ben Mahairo be Yomaini. Umain.